Welcome to the first video, Get Started with Relate, where we will learn how to harness the full potential of concept space. Concept space is that new thing, that new way of organizing information, very much inspired by how the brain works. We get to make links between information, dive into details, get chunks of information that we can move around. There are some benefits for learning, but also for working in teams, developing ideas, and making sense of a lot of data. So without waiting, let's get started. First, we get that login page. We can use different authentication services, so let's use Google. That allows us to not have to remember new passwords. If it's your first time in the app, you'll have to file a short registration form before arriving at the same place as me. We get that empty space because we didn't do anything yet. So we'll start with a project. On the left side, you have a bar where it shows you things you can create in Relate. But the first thing we can really only do in the first level is a project. There are two ways to create a project. The first is to grab the concept or project icon and we just drag and drop into the space. Now we can give it a title and a description and we have a project. The second way is to simply click on the Create a Project button here, add a title and description. For this example, we will work on medicinal mushrooms and it will be an exploration of molecules from nature. And now we have our very first project. I will go ahead and delete the other one by selecting it and clicking on the trash can icon on top. We probably want a better image for that project. So we can go on the web and just search for some images and we'll take this one. So copy image or Ctrl+C and then we go back here, right mouse click on the image and then use clipboard image. And that's it. We have a project ready to go. Now let's dive in. To go into that project, we double click on the image. So now we are inside the project. We can see on the breadcrumb here that we are in medicinal mushrooms. And we'll start by doing some concepts, some links between concepts, and then bringing some images and web references just to show some of the possibilities of concept space. So first of all, let's do a concept. We can take that same icon that we used earlier and we drop it in the space and we get that first concept here. If I select it, I can now edit a name. So we'll talk about penicillin and we can also add some details. So in that case, example of antibiotics. Another way to create a concept is to click in the space to place your cursor and simply start typing. So now we have our first concepts. To move around in the space, we click on the right mouse button or two fingers on the pad and we can drag it in all directions. To move only the concept, I will click with the left mouse button on the title section and move it around. Now we can do links between concepts. To do so, we're going to use what we call the linker. The linker is this icon on the top left part of every concept that allows us to manipulate a concept without necessarily moving it. So if I grab the linker and drag it into the space, we see it says Create and Relate, which is exactly what it will do. It created a new concept that is linked. Say we have this other concept by itself and we want to link it to penicillin. We grab the linker and drag it on the title section of said concept and it will create a link that we can annotate. So that's the two ways to link things. We can start by the linker and link it to the existing thing or drag into the space to create a linked concept. Now we want to elaborate the penicillin concept, add details and information. To do that, we can select the concept, click on the resizer icon on the bottom right and drag it open. Or we can simply click on the resizer and it will open with a predetermined size. And from that moment, we now have a space that we can use to elaborate about penicillin. So now I can navigate into it. To do so, we use the scroll wheel of the mouse to zoom into the space. If I zoom out enough, it will eventually get back out of the space. And when I'm inside the space, let's say I go back in there, I can always use the breadcrumb to go back. So that's a different way to navigate. Now, something else in navigation, if I'm somewhere in space, I can always double click on the background and it will bring everything back to center. So it's a good thing to know when you're a bit lost or when you just want to go fast. The other thing is you can always double click in a space to go straight into it. Now we want to put some more details or images about penicillin. So we can go and search about penicillin, and let's say that image here is interesting to me. So I just copy that image, very similar to what we did for projects. We just right click and paste it in the space, and that will bring it. We can also just click somewhere and do Ctrl V or Command V, and that will also paste it. So that's the way to bring images. Now we have 2 images. What can we do with it? We can select it, move it around. We can delete it by selecting it and using the trash can icon. We can also bring web links. So let's say I want to keep that reference. I can copy the link and paste it here using the right mouse button, paste, or Ctrl V or Command V. So now I have a web reference about penicillin, and I can always go back to that website by double clicking on the linker here. We can also link these things. It's a linker, so we can use it to create a link between the web page and some other concept. And we can again elaborate that concept and put more stuff in it. So that's the basic of how we create stuff in Relate. How we can bring images, web links, how we link things together, how we elaborate a space by opening it, by using the resizer, and also close it back up. There's more things like how we can change colors, how we delete stuff. When you select a concept, we get that bar on top, and we can delete it, or change color, or change importance. Changing importance will make things bigger, and decreasing it will make things smaller. You can do the same thing on links. You just need to select it, and you can change the color, change the importance, and then you get these effects. And to delete something, it's the trash can. So that covers most of the things to get started. And remember, you can always find all this information in the toolbar located on the left side of the screen. Don't hesitate to contact us for questions or comments, and thank you, and see you in the next tutorial.